Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show in which we talk about the week's TV news. Talk about new shows that have been announced in development, pilot orders, series orders, casting news, all that kind of thing. And at the end of the show, we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week and just generally kind of update on what reviews are coming up on the channel and on the podcast feeds and that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do. And how are you, Connor? You good?
Yeah, I'm not bad. It's been warm, so I've been hiding inside, keeping away from that evil sun.
I don't really care. I just it feels just natural to ask you something, so that you break up the intro a little bit, and then we go into the actual content.
Yeah. Which is why I figured I'll just say something. It doesn't really matter. You don't give a shit.
It's merely a means to an end.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, so we'll dive straight into the news of the week. A bunch of quick stuff. A lot little quick things from Netflix actually. To start things off, we have a cancellation. 7 Seconds, which was the show they had on a couple of months ago, about the kid who was killed by the cop, and there was a lot of racial tension, and there was blood in the snow. That was the whole thing. We covered the first episode. We watched the first episode. It wasn't terrible or even bad, but it wasn't necessarily our thing. Apparently, a lot of people thought it wasn't their thing because it's not getting a second season.
It's pretty rare for Netflix to cancel after just one season as well.
That's true. That said, though, I mean, if you remember a couple of months ago, we had that story about, we're going to try and cancel more things so that we're curating a little bit more. And this is now like 2 weeks in a row we've had a cancellation after one season.
Yeah. It still feels kind of rare, doesn't it, though?
Maybe it was 2 weeks ago that Everything Sucks got cancelled. Either way, but it's still back to pretty close. So that's cancelled. But we do have a bunch of premiere dates from Netflix. We get 4, in fact.
Yeah, that's why they're cancelling things. Got to make room for all that juicy new content.
So first up, Dear White People Season 2 is going to premiere May 4th. So that's pretty imminent. And of course we covered Season 1. We will definitely be covering Season 2. Of course we're not thrilled how close it is to 3%, which is premiering on Netflix the week before. But we will we shall soldier on and
figure something out somehow
and get to them. That means it may be a little bit slower going through the episodes than it normally would be, but we'll get it done one way or the other. So looking forward to that. Obviously, we really like Season 1. Next up on May 10th, there's a show called Safe, which had a trailer as well. They all have trailers when they announce these things. I never actually bothered watching the Dear White People one because I don't need to see a trailer for Dear White People Season 2.
Yeah, I know what I'm getting. I'm good.
But Safe has a trailer, and Safe is Dexter, Michael C. Hall, who's known for playing Dexter, and he was also in 6 Feet Under. He is a father who his teenage daughter goes missing after some party, and it seems to be about him kind of taking the law into his own hands, and a more, think less Batman and more just kind of investigative, like him and his soldier buddy kind of starting to look into things.
Yeah.
It looks okay. I mean, I'm not particularly excited.
It looks really generic and bland. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like there's any reason for me to care about watching it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say we won't be covering this. Mainly, I mean, we'd maybe give it a try, but the fact that it's a week after Dear White People, when that's already a week after something else that we'll probably still just be finishing up.
We could do with a week off at some point.
So, yeah, I doubt we're going to be checking this out, but it is something that's coming, May 10th. Then next up, a bit of a time jump. I'm expecting more stuff to be announced in between this gap, but coming on June 29th is Season 2 of Glow, which me and Matt covered last year. I imagine we will be again. I've not spoken to him about it yet, but I imagine we'll be back for Season 2. I like Season 1 a lot. I'm looking forward to Season 2 of this. This is nice summer viewing, quite frankly. I'm jazzed. I did actually watch the trailer for this because the trailer wasn't
the montage, wasn't it?
It wasn't actually footage of the show. It was specifically it was them all singing Maniac in the locker room. And then the joke at the end just being the manager comes in and is like, "Hey, what are you all doing? We've got a show to put on," and they all just kind of keep singing. But it's just a separate little thing they shot for the trailer. So if you like the sound of that, check it out. But June 29th, Season 2 of Glow is coming.
That's about the same time as last year, right?
Yeah, I think it's maybe like a month later, something like that. Maybe a month and a half later.
It's funny, because that and everything else is slipping from a year to more like 15, 16 months, but Dear white people slip by a week from being dead on a year.
Do you know what that might be, Connor? It might be that having half the runtime actually makes it easier to
Getting
make it.
it, yeah, no, it
Yeah,
might do. It
hit
might.
that deadline. Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, you look at it and go, it's 5 hours of content instead of 10. So,
No, it's true. It's
so you
true.
know, so I guess it just makes sense. It just works. And then next up, they also announced a show for August 24th called The Innocents. It's worth mentioning both this and Safe seem to be UK based. Innocence is a supernatural story though about again a couple of teenagers who kind of run away because they have superpowers of some kind, and the evil conspiracy government that's after them because they want to control them and take them in. I don't know if the guy has powers in Italy, but the girl certainly has powers. She has like a I don't know if it's quite shape shifting or if everyone else just sees someone different.
That's the thing. I wasn't too sure because there's a bit where it looks like her finger is like stretching into, being someone else's like finger. I'm like, okay, so like it's shape shifting, but the way it plays with the mirror, like, tells me that it's just perception.
It's just a perception thing. Either
Yeah.
way, she has a power to make people see someone else.
I will say, I laughed when I watched this trailer because I called the twist based on the song.
There's a twist.
The moment where it reveals that it's the same person.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
That moment is the twist of, okay, that's what the show is. I laughed because the song they use is it's a cover of the Pixies, "Where's My Mind," and it's used pretty famously in Fight Club and another TV show that we cover at certain moments that are to do with split personalities and dual personas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, they're using the same cover as well, and I'm like, huh, okay, I've heard this before. That's in my mind, and then they do that. I'm like, okay. I'm assuming that was intentional.
Yeah, I don't think it's because obviously it's the premise of the show, so I don't think it's supposed to be something that you weren't supposed to figure out.
No, no,
some
but
capacity.
I assume the song choice was intentional
Yeah,
because of that.
yeah, no, probably. It's been too long since I've seen Fight Club to remember the song.
Oh, what? It's a great song.
No, I recognise the song, but I didn't know it was from Fight Club.
Yeah, because the other show used it because because it was in Fight Club.
Yeah, and again, like obviously I've seen that show, but I didn't recognise it from something. I know this song, I've heard it, but
Fair enough.
but no, so that's coming August 24th. So obviously there's stuff more coming in May and June, and there'll be more stuff in early August. But that's what they're announcing in advance for whatever reason. So there's a bunch of dates. Next up, we also got a premiere date for a CBS All Access show.
Oh, they're doing another one.
Called Strange Angel. And I remember talking about this when it was announced as coming. This is going to be on its way on June 14th. That's when it starts, because obviously CBS All Access do put their stuff out weekly. It's a 10-episode season. Just to remind you what this is, Jack Rayner will play Jack Parsons, the brilliant and ambitious blue-collar worker who started as a janitor at a chemical factory but had fantastical dreams that eventually led to the birth of the American rocketry. So, yeah. So that's
I remember this one.
yeah. So that's what the show is, and it's coming in June. So there you go. So some dates. Then we have some negative cancellation news that just happened a few hours ago. Actually, Ash vs Evil Dead has been cancelled after 3 seasons at Stars. It is done. They did not know before they shot it because they already finished making the season 3, before they started airing it. So now whatever the season finale is going to be in the next couple of weeks is just going to be the series finale.
Oh well, I'll watch it, so I don't really care.
I like that show quite a bit. I'm not actually that bummed, oddly enough. I feel like
Run its course a bit.
it's not so much. No, it's not so much to just run its course. It just doesn't really matter that much.
Okay, I'm with you.
Each season's kind of ended its story, because the end of season 2 could have been the series finale had it not came back.
Yeah, you
And I
watch
feel-
it just be a big cliffhanger this time.
I'm kind of expecting it to just feel the same way again, so I'm not particularly worried about it. I mean, admittedly, yeah, obviously you want shows you like to probably hit like 5 seasons, if nothing else, but hey, this is already way more hours than there exists in the movies, so
Yeah, that's true.
We got 3 seasons of sequels to the original Evil Dead trilogy. Can't really complain too much about it. I'm a little bit worried about Tim. Tim, I think, might be in a dark corner somewhere, crying his eyes out.
He might be. You can talk about it this week.
Yeah. There's going to be a somber tone over the Ashby's Evil Dead review next time.
How many have you got left?
2, I believe. I think the last one we did was episode 8.
Yeah. These last 2 are going to be weird, isn't it? You're going like, oh, okay. This is fun, but it's all coming to an end. It's very bittersweet.
Speaking of things that are ending, seemingly, not that we care about this show, but I thought it was worth mentioning because this was the show, of course, that didn't do that well, and yet then somehow got renewed instead of Timeless. And then Timeless got renewed again anyway. But if you remember Taken, the TV show that's sort of based around the Liam Neeson movie, which had nothing to do with the plot of the movie, NBC suddenly just pulled that off their schedule, and they said they'll air the rest of the season on Saturdays, starting at the end of May, basically in the summer slot. So if that's not a sign that they're cancelling it, I don't know what is.
Yeah. They realised it was shite and no one cares.
Yeah, they're just burning it off on Saturday nights during the summer. That is not a good sign for it. So, Taken has been taken off air. So, next up, we've got some casting for Stranger Things Season 3. Carrie Elwes, who was the Doctor in the first Saw movie, is the only thing I know him from. More interestingly, though, Jake Busey has been added to the cast.
We're getting a Busey.
Honestly, I would love if he was playing his father. If Gary Busey's in town in the 80s.
Yes.
And it's Jake Busey who's playing him. That would win me over. That's not what's happening, of course.
Oh, you have to ruin it.
But hey, so Carrie's going to play the mayor of the town. It's described as a handsome, slick and sleazy, your classic 80s politician, more concerned with his own image than with the people of his small town that he governs. And then the Bruce character, who's Busey's going to play, is a journalist for the Hawkins Post with questionable morals and a sick sense of humour. That sounds like a Busey. That
does, doesn't it?
Yeah, questionable morals and a sick sense of humour. That is a Busey to a T. So there you go. So season 3's cast is starting to round out a little bit. But hey, so good. We got some Arrow news this week.
We did, didn't we? Big Arrow news, relatively speaking.
Relatively positive Arrow news as well. I mean,
shockingly, yeah.
Given that we think the show is really bad and has been really bad for years now.
I am drinking right now in preparation for this week's episode.
You are. We've got the movie news to do before we get to that as well, so slow down.
No.
But, yeah, so we're getting a change of showrunner. We have a new showrunner, of course. We have Beth Schwartz is going to be the new showrunner, who has been on the show as a writer for
I think since the start.
Yeah, for a long time, if not the start. But the co-showrunners now, Mark Guggenheim, Uncle Googie himself, is leaving. He's going to be still on as an advisory role for both that and Legends of Tomorrow, but executive consultant is the exact term they've used. But he's also leaving.
That means just nothing.
He's also leaving Legends of Tomorrow. He co-showrun that with Wendy. No, sorry, I didn't. Sorry, that's Arrow.
That's Arrow. Yeah.
Phil Klemmer. Phil Klemmer. He co-wrote Legends of Tomorrow with. He's now just the sole showrunner on Legends. Yeah. So,
which I imagine it must have been him that ushered in the Beboverse.
You would hope so.
If I can't believe that was Googie.
You would certainly hope so.
I just can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, Wendy Mersel, who I almost mentioned there, she was the co-runner of Arrow with Guggenheim. She's just leaving the show entirely.
It was arguably even worse.
But very, very possibly. I think I saw earlier on that she signed a deal with ABC or something to develop stuff at ABC. So yeah, they can have her.
It's fine.
Off you go.
Just keep her doing some stupid legal dramas, ABC.
Admittedly, I'm not expecting that the show's going to turn around and be great in season 7, but this can't be a bad thing.
It can't get much worse.
I mean, and if it does get worse, it'll be funny because we're already at a point now where sometimes it's so bad it's kind of fun.
Part of me, because obviously I've subscribed to the Arrow subreddit just for the utter hatred and contempt that they have for the show. It's beautiful. And I kind of want it to be atrocious still, just to watch their anger come
Yeah,
up.
I think the fact that the person who's the new showrunner, that's Beth Schwartz, I think the fact that she's someone who's been working on the show all the time anyway, makes me think it won't be a big drastic change. It'll be, maybe there'll be an uptick in quality, but it won't be like night and day,
Yeah,
I don't
it
think.
really depends how hands-on they've been as showrunners in terms of going, "Oh, this is what we're wanting." Because the individual dialogue is usually not the biggest problem with the show. It's not necessarily great, but it's generally just the concepts and ideas are pretty poor.
Well, you say that, but even if they were really hands-on, it might still not be that much of a change because she might have just learned from them. Like,
Oh, yeah, very much, possibly, yeah.
she's been in that writer's room with them. I feel like now this could be she could have been secretly going, "I've got so much better ideas. These assholes aren't letting
Well,
me do." Like,
here's the thing: if the fact that this has happened, she might see this as going, "Hey, okay, they've been taken off this because it's not performing as well. I need to do something."
well, you don't know that.
Yeah, we all do.
You don't know you don't know that they were taken off. For all we know, they could have chosen to leave for other projects. It could have been a variety of reasons. We don't know.
It could have, but Arrow's ratings have been dropping, so they're gonna want change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's incentive to do something different.
Yeah. That's not. If it happens, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not expecting it.
Oh, I'm not expecting it either.
I think it's a futile effort to actually go in expecting there to be some sort of, oh, all of a sudden it's actually a good show about a vigilante guy in a hood.
What are the odds?
Yeah. So let's move on. We've got some new shows to talk about. We'll start with the comedies as we typically do. ABC's given a series order to an untitled spin-off from the Goldbergs, which obviously is one of their popular comedies. I've never actually watched the Goldbergs, but I hear Matt likes it. I know Matt likes it. So coming for the 2018-2019 season, which obviously starting later this year, the spin-off was set in the 1990s and followed the teachers from William Penn Academy, including Tim Meadows' Principal Glascott, Brian Callen's Coach Meller, and AJ Michalka's Lainey Lewis, who I imagine they're all characters on the Goldbergs, which I believe is set in the 80s, so it sounds like this is just going to be all the same teachers a few years later with new students, but it's going to focus on the teachers a bit more. So yeah. So that's So not much to say on it, but obviously they like the show enough and it's doing well enough that they want spin-offs. So
yeah,
there you go. Goldberg's spin-off of some kind.
Is the Goldbergs still on as well?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Kind of interesting if all those teachers are still going to appear in that show as well.
That's what I'm thinking. I assume they can't just logistically in terms of filming,
unless because I know it's like a family with kids. I wonder if the kid who had those teachers is now leaving school and going to college or something like that, and that's why
they've all gone a bit older, and it's like, okay, we're moving on from that school setting.
Yeah, or maybe it's a middle school and they've went into high school, whatever. But maybe they've just left those teachers behind. Therefore, they're free for this spin-off that's set a few years later.
I'll be honest, the teachers sounds as a premise of the sitcom. Following the teachers sounds more interesting to me than just another family.
Oh, sure, but I mean, there's also no reason why a family sitcom can't be great.
Oh no, there's not. So, but I just if I'm gonna pick one blindly, I'm probably gonna pick this one.
But obviously, people already like these characters if they like the Goldbergs, so that seems like a fine idea. Next up, Hulu is given a straight-to-series order for a middle school comedy, funnily enough. It's called Penis, but it's spelled with a 1 and a 5 at the end.
Okay, very juvenile.
Yes. Maya Erskine and Anna Konkle are going to star in the series playing versions of themselves as 13-year-old outcasts in the year 2000. You'd be like, great, that sounds like they're not 13 themselves. They're not.
I remember hearing about this recently. We haven't spoke about this, have we?
No, we have not. They're adults, and they're surrounded by actual 13-year-olds. All their friends in school are going to be actual 13-year-olds, but they are not. They're adults. They're 30 or whatever they are. Where the best day of your life can turn into your worst with the stroke of a gel pen. Hulu's given it a 10-episode season order. I have to admit, the fact that you've got two adults pretending to be 13-year-olds and just acting as if they are, with a bunch of actual 13-year-olds, does sound kind of entertaining.
Yeah, I saw it, must have been earlier in the week, clearly. And I saw it and went, that sounds just batshit insane enough to be fun.
And until you get to the awkward moment where they have to do a plot where, like, oh, the boys get a crush on one of them.
Yeah. No. I wonder if we heard about this news just in passing before, because I remember having that exact discussion with someone. Maybe it wasn't you, but
No, definitely wasn't. I'd never heard of this before I looked at this up for the news.
okay.
So, so that's penis, or pen 15 if they want to, if they want to pretend it's not saying the word penis.
10:15.
Yeah. Next up, Netflix has ordered a comedy starring Idris Elba called Turn Up Charlie. It's co-created by Elba and TV producer Gary Reich. That's an unfortunate name. The series follows Charlie, a struggling DJ and an eternal bachelor who's given a final chance at success when he reluctantly becomes a manny. So I was going to say nanny, a manny, to his famous best friend's problem child daughter. So, honestly, see, when I started reading that, I was like, there's a DJ, he's doing DJ things. It's like, oh, no, it's Uncle Buck, basically. He becomes
Yeah, at first I was like, so Elba's doing a shitty version of himself, because obviously he does a lot of DJing stuff as well.
It sounds like he's going to be a very bad manny to a horrible child, which could have potential. Netflix has ordered an 8-episode season of this.
Yeah, fair enough. I like Elba, so that's cool.
I do. I don't know if I've seen him do much good comedy. He was in The Office for a bit, but his character in that was still... The joke was basically he was still Stinger Bell from The Wire, essentially, in an office setting, and you cringed when the goofy character said something stupid to him. Because
he was straight.
Yeah, he was like the super straight man. So, I'm curious to see if... like how you play him in this, being this over the top.
I don't
character.
think I've seen him do a lot of outrageous comedy like that.
Yeah. But that's right. So we're on to the dramas now. And
What you got for me?
we do have some meat this week. There's some meat here. First up, Amazon is developing 2 different original series, both based on comic books by Jonathan Hickman. Now, it is fair to say that neither of us are particular fans of Jonathan Hickman in comics. That said, I don't have a problem with his concepts. In fact, usually his books sound quite good.
They do, which is why I try most of them and go, why did I bother? It's a Hickman book again.
But that's exactly the sort of thing, though, that could turn into a TV show that I like.
It is, and I think he's still pretty heavily involved with the show.
He is, but that's the thing. Even if I don't like his comic book writing, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to like it on the screen. Because my problem with Hickman is, like, it reads weird because it's a comic.
No, it's true.
I think you can get away with a lot more silly and abstract ideas on a visual moving medium like TV than you can in a comic book.
Okay, fair enough. For me, it's his dialogue that's the problem. It's always really stilted. So if he can get writers to fix that, that'd be great.
But again, actors delivering the dialogue.
Oh no, it might be better.
Can fix that problem.
I mean, like...
Because this is the thing: you read the dialogue, you're giving it the pacing in your head. Like maybe the way he's writing it, you're not like thinking the way he's got the flow in his head. And there's a lot of potential. Even though I don't like his comic books, whenever I've tried them, that these could turn into good shows. So what are they? One's East of West, the other one's called Transhuman, and Hickman is he's working on both projects in some capacity. Robert Kirkman, of course, who's the creator of The Walking Dead and develops TV shows, is also executive producing through his Skybound Entertainment company. Amazon, of course, I said, are doing both of these. So they're both created and executive produced by Hickman and the artists who worked on the books with him. So Nick Dragotta in the case of East of West and GM Reget in terms of Transhuman. And it seems like East of West is going to be written by Hickman, and he's going to be directly more involved with that one. There's a search underway for a writer to work on Transhuman. So he's more heavily involved in one or the other. East of West, so here's the synopsis. East of West is set in a reimagined Western landscape where America is divided into 7 nations. This iconic science fiction series follows Death as he... And I think that's just a nickname as opposed to the embodiment of Death. Death as he braves his fellow riders, monsters and corrupt gunslingers in a quest to save his moral family from the apocalypse. Fine concept. Could be a great show.
So fine, I tried this one.
Could be a great show.
Could be. But I'm going in skeptical when he's writing, because it's his writing I have a problem with.
But again, TV and comics.
Could, but it has to prove me wrong, is what I'm saying. I'm going in negative on this one.
I'm just saying I'm being optimistic. I'm being optimistic.
You can do that.
For some positivity. Right.
Well, we'll balance out then, won't we?
Transhuman is a science fiction drama set in the near future. The show centres around a divorced couple who ran rival major corporations, offering humans the ability to genetically and robotically enhance themselves. So they're both sci-fi shows. They're both very much in our wheelhouse in terms of concept. And Amazon, of course, picking up a lot more shows that are definitely things that we'll be trying, if not liking, at some point.
Yeah.
So no, that was interesting news this week. That was quite meaty. Here's one we knew about, and I remember we must have had the pilot order a couple of months ago, because I remember talking about it. But Sci-Fi has officially given a series order to Deadly Class, which is also based on a comic book. This is based on a book by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. Funnily enough, another comic book writer that neither of us are particularly fond of necessarily.
And another comic series itself that I tried because I like the sound of it, even though I hate the writer, and I couldn't help myself, and then went, why did I do this again?
But once again, as a TV show, the flaws that it may translate better, it may work better in this format for us. And again, you're determined not to even admit the possibility of hope.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's possible, but they gotta prove me wrong. They gotta go, hey, look, this is why I should forget that preconception that I have from the comic.
Well, they're not going to say that because they're under the assumption they think their book's good.
Look, I'm just saying this is no different to when we're talking about Why the Last Man, a comic that you like. You go in excited because you like this. You have an experience with it.
No, I don't. I go in worried that they're going to screw it up.
But you're hopeful that you're like, oh, if they can get this right.
Oh, sure, but I'm actually in a lot of ways more hopeful for these properties because I don't have that. I won't care if they do screw it up. If they screw it up, then fine, great. Okay, it's a show I can ignore. No loss.
Oh, that's so weird.
I feel no pain from it.
You're supposed to be, when they announce something that you like, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to get excited about that. It's supposed to be good news.
I have nothing to lose on this, which is why I think it's easier to be optimistic.
Okay, I see your logic.
I could end up with something great, which is a nice surprise, or I just don't. It's bad and I don't care. It's fine. Life goes on. They screw up Why the Last Man. I'm going to be upset about it, and I'll be angry at them.
But you should be excited that they're doing it, right? That's the point.
Well, it depends who's doing it. If there's names that I trust, perhaps, but
we have very different opinions on this. Clearly.
Well,
different approaches to adaptations.
Yeah, I worry they're going to screw it up and not going to focus on the right things. That's why I'm glad I don't read a lot of books, because I'm never concerned about the adaptations.
It's funny, because on this one, I'm the really pessimistic one here, and you're quite optimistic on, well, how bad can it be? It's either it's good and I like it, or I don't care. Whereas, when it's something that's being adapted that we do like, I go, oh yeah, I'm really excited to see what they can do with this. I want to see this translated to the screen and get another version of something I love. And you're like, no, please don't get this wrong. Please don't do this badly.
Look.
Complete opposites.
Did you not see Batman v Superman? Did you not
Look, I'm not saying the
potential
for it to go that badly wrong is not there. I'm just saying, don't judge everything by that shite.
I'm not. There's other things that have...
There are lots of other
gone greatly wrong.
There are.
Hell, by and large, adaptations are probably more often weaker than better.
That's fair.
Anyway, let me finish the goddamn description of this. So the Russos are producing this. They're not running the show or anything like that, but they're amongst the producers. Remender himself and Miles Orion, Phil Scott, adapted it. So he did work on the show as well. The series is set in a dark comic book world against the backdrop of the late 1980s counterculture. It follows a homeless teen recruited into a storied elite private school where the world's top crime families send their next generations. Maintaining his moral code while surviving a ruthless curriculum, vicious social cliques, and his own adolescent uncertainties soon prove to be vital. Benedict Wong's in it, along with Benjamin Wadsworth, Lana Condor, Maria Gabriela de Faria. That's a lot of names in your name. Condense that, goddammit. Luke Tenney, Liam James, and Michelle Duval. So, I only really knew Benedict Wong, but I felt bad only saying his name. I thought I have to say them all.
What's funny is I remember when we spoke about this before, we had the exact same list, and we went, so just Benedict Wong that we know then. Nothing's changed.
It's because they're all teenagers and stuff, so it's all new faces, you know.
It makes sense.
There's very few people who are that young that I'll know from something else first.
No, unless they've grown up acting.
Yeah, but even then, like, you know, it's probably going to be like Disney Channel shit, which I don't watch.
No, it's true.
You know, but hey, so next up, we have a US adaptation of Utopia coming, written by Gone Girl author and screenwriter Gillian Flynn. Amazon again with this one, so Amazon getting a lot of stuff going. They've given a 9-episode straight to series order for it.
9, unusual amount.
It's a very interesting amount and very specific. So it's a US version. It was a British series originally from 2013 to 2014, created by Dennis Kelly. And it was actually in development already at HBO in 2015 with David Fincher, of all people. This was going to be a thing at one point. It was in pre-production. Fincher and Flynn had been rehearsing with the cast, including Rooney Mara, Eric McCormick was in there, Jason Ritter was in there, but it unravelled when Fincher and HBO could not agree on a budget. So Fincher clearly wanted to go back, and HBO like, no, you're going too big. But here's the premise of the show. Utopia follows a group of adults who meet online that are mercilessly hunted by a shadowy deep state organisation after they come into possession of a near mythical cult underground graphic novel. This is a lot weirder than I thought it was going to be. Within the comics pages, they discover a conspiracy theories that may actually be real and are forced into dangerous, unique, and ironic positions of saving the world. So they find a comic book that's full of prophecies and secrets.
Yeah. I tell you didn't watch this then?
No.
It's pretty good. Worth checking out.
Yeah, whatever. Knock yourselves out. Amazon, knock yourselves out. So next up, Netflix have given a 10-episode order to The Order.
Okay, that's never going to get complicated.
It's called The Order. It's a horror drama series. It comes from Nomadic Pictures, which is a Canadian company. So it's created by Dennis Heaton and Shelley Erickson, who they've listed a couple of things here. Dennis Heaton's from Motive, and Erickson's the co-creator of Private Eyes. I've never heard of either of those things though, so but just in case someone has, and that gives you a reference point for them. But The Order centers on a college freshman, Jack Morton, who joins a fabled secret society called The Order, where he is thrust into a world of magic, monsters, and intrigue. As Jack goes deeper, he uncovers dark family secrets and an underground battle between werewolves and the magical dark arts.
I'm so in. This is ticking my boxes.
I'm tentatively dipping my toes in.
I was in at Secret Society, and then you went all in on the other stuff. I was like, yep, yeah, I'm down for this.
I'll be honest, secret societies don't actually excite me all that much.
Why not?
I feel like more often than not, it's, I don't know, just a concept that doesn't excite me. I just,
no, man.
For whatever reason, this one of those things that makes me just kind of like, okay, well, I might like this in spite of the fact that it's got a secret society.
That's how I feel about war movies or gangster movies.
I feel that about those too, but I'm just not in secret societies typically. I was going to say there's no people will probably start firing examples at me, and I'm like, okay, that's good and that's good, but I don't know. I think of all the bad examples first.
You have to be convinced.
Yes, I suppose. Try to make a point here, so we try.
Maybe I am.
Here we are. No, see, this is the thing. When it's me, it's right. When it's you, it's wrong. This is what you have to get into your head. Is it? Yes. Next up, Netflix once again have given a straight-to-series order for an adaptation of a book series written by Jonathan Maybury. It's called V-Wars.
Good title.
That's a cool title, I'll give it that. It's a 10-episode straight-to-series order. Ian Somerhalder is going to star in it, and this is a vampire story. And he was on the Vampire Diaries for like 8 years or whatever it was. So he's definitely got a shtick. He's got a shtick that he's involved with.
Kind of feel bad for the guy.
But he's going to start as Dr. Luther Swan, who enters a world of horror when a mysterious... It's funny how Netflix have just ordered two horror-ish things. But when a mysterious disease transforms his best friend, Michael Fane, into a murderous predator who feeds on other humans. As the disease spreads and more people are transformed, society fractures into opposing camps, pitting normal people against a growing number of these vampires. Swan races against time to understand what's happening, while Fane rises to become a powerful underground leader of the vampires. So you get a vampire show. And it's... It doesn't actually say if it's set like a period piece, but it sounds like it is to me.
Do you think? I wasn't getting that at all, but...
For whatever reason, he's a doctor, Dr. Luther Swan. Like I'm imagining Jack the Ripper times.
I mean, if it is, I wouldn't be super surprised, but nothing in there made me think it
no,
was.
it may not be. It's just I just got a sense of it.
Okay, I assume just modern day, unless they tell me otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. But all the images that conjured in my head reading this were all just of lanterns and cobbled streets for some reason.
I can see what you're saying, but I don't know. I wasn't getting that.
It'll be more interesting if it's set in that time period, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd probably enjoy it more as well, personally. I don't think it's inherently more interesting, though.
No, I think it's because not that doctors would be prepared for vampires these days, but I think the idea of the Van Helsing style doctor who has his little bag and he's trying to figure things out. That not that I expect Van Helsing specifically to be in the show, but just in a slightly more primitive time before we have more sophisticated weapons seems like a more interesting setting for this. But again, I have no basis for this other than it's just a feeling I get from reading it. I mean, it's probably just present day, and because I guess I'm imagining that it's not.
Well, basically, this you're thinking. Please don't let this just be Netflix does Underworld.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But no, Werewolves were another show. This is only the vampires in this one. They're them separate.
I know.
Different shows. I guess it's the way it says society fractures. I guess I'm literally thinking that like a small village splits in two.
Right. I get that, but I'm feeling society these days with the internet is pretty global, so it's more extreme to do it like that.
I'm not arguing it is set in the past. I'm just saying that it sounds like it should be.
Oh no, I don't get me wrong. I think I'd probably enjoy it more, like I said, if it was, but I don't think it is for some reason.
But yeah, we'll check out the first episode when it hits for sure. It's a vampire show.
Yeah, unless it happens to hit with something else that we care more about.
And The Order's a horror show, so we'll check out that probably as well when it hits. On the upside, they never tend to hit us with two. But the only worry that we really have of things doubling up is when one of them's a foreign show, because they seem to not mind putting out a foreign show with another big show.
I think it's more likely at this point we're going to get a week where Netflix and Amazon both put out something.
I know that's different. No, that's a different kettle of fish.
Okay.
That's two different. I'm just talking about Netflix themselves.
Yeah. It's typically maybe a comedy and a drama that we're interested in.
But even that's not happened yet.
It hasn't yet. No, we've been quite fortunate in that sense.
All right, next up. I told you it was meaty, the drama section this week. I wasn't lying about it. Next up, Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, who of course are the showrunners behind Westworld, are working on a new drama for Amazon. So, Amazon again. Amazon and Netflix just announcing things left and right here.
Yeah, I can't imagine the budgets. It's just, the expenditures that Amazon are just going, yeah, whatever, just tick it.
This is called The Peripheral, and it is based on William Gibson's novel. The project has been put into script development with a series option, and it comes from Nolan and Joy's Kilter Films, their production company. But they're not going to be the ones actually writing the show, so they're heavily involved. But obviously, clearly, they're still working on Westworld. That's where their main focus is. So this is written by Scott B. Smith, who is an Oscar nominee for A Simple Plan, directed by Vincenzo Natali, who directed a couple episodes of Westworld, so he's very much in the family. In fact, I think he directed the last episode of Lost in Space we watched, because I think I saw his name pop up in the credits. So he's done a lot of big TV, basically, is
fair
the key
enough.
thing. So the Peripheral follows Flynn Fisher, a woman in the near future in America in which technology has started to subtly alter society. Flynn discovers a hidden connection to a very different reality and the dark future of her own.
Kind of vague, but
They're clearly keeping it under wraps, although admittedly it is based on a book, so you could go and find the book if you want to really dig into
you could. But
details.
that's no fun.
It is no fun. Needless to say, again, this is immediately on the radar. This is immediately, yeah, we'll check this out when it hits, because it's sci-fi, it's coming from talent that we care about.
If it hits, it's just a script order right now.
Sure. Well, a lot of these things we talk about are just script orders, but...
Yeah, but all the last bunch were actually just series orders.
Okay, sure. On this particular week, okay, it happened to be mostly series orders so far, but...
Yeah.
I always say we'll check things out, even though it doesn't exist yet. It's it's just.
I know, but I just wanted to point out that this one's different compared to the last few, which I don't know. Guess they're not quite as all in on this one.
Look at the names involved. It's happening.
It probably is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing that. I'm just pointing it out.
You're arguing it. You're arguing everything. You like to argue for some reason.
I do like to argue.
Next up, Cinemax has given a straight-to-series order for a new drama series starring Carla Gugino. This is called Jet, and it'll follow a world-class thief, Daisy Jet Kowalski, who's fresh out of prison, is forced back into doing what she does best by dangerous and eccentric criminals determined to exploit her skills for their own ends. Jet is described as an intensely practical and self-reliant thief, an sentimental woman of action, with the birth of her daughter. Jet planned to put her career in crime behind her, only to find herself drawn into doing one last job. This all sounds fine. It sounds a little bit tropey and generic. Like, I feel like I've seen kind of the story before, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad.
It doesn't. But also, I'm still mad at Cinemax for only giving me one season of Quarry. So
yes, Cinemax can piss off because they cancelled Quarry, the bastards. But I mean, I'm not excited by this, but there's also nothing about it that's bad.
No, this could be pretty good. I mean, I think as much as we just raved about Quarry there, but yeah, tell me the premise of that, I'll probably go, eh.
Yeah. Quarry wasn't like a premise selling show. It was just, no, this is just really well written and directed. It doesn't matter what it's about. It's just that damn good. That said, Cinemax cancelled Quarry in part because they wanted to turn everything into like the action channel.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad. This could be a good action show. But
it could be. But I think this is less interesting as that, because I'm going, okay,
sure,
it loses some of, the potential.
But hey, so that's called Jet. And obviously, Gugino's a relative name to,
Yeah.
So, next up, we've got a show called 000, which is coming from the creators of Gamera, which is the Italian crime show that was quite a big hit in the last couple of years. That's still been worked on. But this is also a crime show. This is working in conjunction between Sky, Amazon, and Canal Plus, depending on the region. It will shoot in English, Spanish, Italian, French, Wolof, and Arabic. I don't actually know what Wolof is.
I was trying to say, what's Wolof?
I don't know. If I remembered that I'd read that earlier, I might have looked it up and checked what.
How do you spell it? WOL?
OF.
OF.
Wolof. What's Wolof?
I'm intrigued. It's Africa somewhere.
No, so it's an African language. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's going to shoot in all these languages. It's going to take 8 months to shoot in 6 different countries. So it's a big, multinational production. It's going to be an 8-episode series. So you've got Gamera director Stefano Salima helming the adaptation of the book by Gamera writer Roberto Saviano. And it's about an international cocaine trafficking and its economic and political effects. The plot will chart family dynamics, Mexican cartels, the Calabrian mafia, and corrupt businessmen. So this does not really interest me in any way, shape, or form, but it does sound like they're spending a lot of money on it. It sounds like it's going to be a big deal, but
it sounds ambitious.
It does. Like we literally just said in a couple of stories ago, we're not really into gang or crime or whatever stuff. There's exceptions, of course.
There are.
But yeah, cocaine trafficking is the core plot point is not
It's not a selling point to us, is it?
Nah, it's just not to my taste. But if you're into this kind of stuff, this might be really wetting your palate. But oh yeah, I'm licking my lips. This sounds like a
Yeah.
going. You know, this is the equivalent to us of like some huge budget new space show where like, oh, they're
It
really
is,
spending
yeah.
money on this. Oh
Yeah.
baby.
And that's the thing. This sounds expensive. All these different countries, it's like, okay, this is authentic sounding.
And it sounds like it may be a one season thing because it's based on one book.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
The 8 episodes sounds kind of self contained, but we'll see. Next up, National Geographic Channel, don't talk about them a lot, have ordered a scripted drama from producers Ridley Scott and Linda Obst about the origins of the Ebola virus. The project was unveiled Wednesday afternoon in advance of National Geographic's upfront presentation to advertisers in New York. It's called The Hot Zone. Well, that's what the book is anyway. They might change the title. But it's based on the book by Richard Preston, and it tells the story of a US Army veterinarian who put her life on the line in an effort to stop a broader outbreak of the disease in Washington, D.C. in 1989. So, yeah. It sounds like the sort of thing that you'd expect Nat Geo to make a show about.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I don't know if I'm super, again, excited by the concept, but I can't fault the...
It depends how they treat it. If they treat it, okay, the pandemic angle.
Oh, it's a thriller, it's a suspense, you're trying to like, stop the spread of the disease, and
Yeah.
it's Contagion, the TV show.
Right. So, yeah, that could be fun.
It could be. So we're going back over to Netflix. This is like a batch of Netflix shows. Basically, Netflix decided to announce a bunch of European shows. A bunch of European original content. First one's from the UK. It's called The English Game. It's a 6-part drama about the invention of modern soccer and those involved in its creation, how it reached across the class divide to establish the game as the world's most popular sport. So I don't give a shit about this at all. I can't stand football or soccer.
I don't mind football.
It's painfully boring. Hey,
We got the World Cup in a couple of months.
The Big Green was okay as a kid, but that's because it's dumb kids. It's a sports movie. I'm okay with that. Not as good as other stuff because the goalie in that was one of the kids who was also in the Sandlot. Sandlot's a better movie, but Steve Guttenberg was in it from Police Academy. That was the other claim to fame in that movie. So that was The English Game. Next up from the Netherlands, we have an untitled show, but it is the service's first Dutch original. So it's produced by a Dutch company, Pupkin, which I'm sure that makes more sense in
I hope it does.
in the language. It's set in Amsterdam. It involves Dutch students who have it all: youth, wealth, sex, power. They open a portal to the demonic world of the Dutch Golden Age. It's a tricky thing to open portals like that. Basically, all these descriptions aren't actually like officially written synopsis. This is just like someone on a stage talking about them at this thingamajig. They had an event in Rome. It's called See What's Next Netflix event. So this is just someone on a stage. So if these descriptions are a bit more fragmented and just kind of casual,
So I saw,
fine.
just on Netflix in general, the fact that they're having their own events here, like their profits gap is up there, like almost on Disney levels. It's insane.
Oh yeah, I think their worth is just slightly below Disney at this point.
Yeah, it's like wow, and they're like just up their subscribers again, like beyond expectations, which I think we spoke about not so long ago, like last quarter, that they were above expectations then, so they'll have adjusted it for this quarter and still beat that. Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, Netflix. Most homes have Netflix now. It's just a thing. So they open a portal to the demonic world of Dutch Golden Age. I don't know exactly what that means.
I don't know, but I want to find out.
Maybe time travel, maybe like an alternate reality. I don't know. Alternate reality Holland or something. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, next up from France, we have Mortel, which doesn't have a lot here. It tells the story of teenagers bound together by a supernatural force. That's very vague. But hey, the word supernatural does make us more interested than not because we're nerds.
Pretty much, it makes me go from it's a French show to it's a French supernatural show. Okay.
Oui.
Very good. One word.
Yes.
Oh, come on. The joke there was you said we again.
No, I was saying what the word meant because to prove that I know it. It means yes.
Context would have given that. Would have been fine. God damn.
I don't know, menage a trois is French.
Yes, it is. Now use it in a sentence.
I do not want to have a menage a trois with Connor.
Very good.
I'm sure you're relieved, if nothing else.
I am, yeah.
Next up from Germany, we have a show called The Wave. This is their third German original. Of course, we know about Dark, because we love Dark. So this is a drama based on the hit movie the same name from 2008. Not to be confused with the Norwegian movie The Wave, which is a disaster movie, which I saw last year. So I was just making sure, because when I read this, I'm like, oh, is it based on that? So it's going to be a tidal wave? No, it's... presumably a German movie they're referring to. It's inspired by real events. The series looks at a group of rebellious teenagers who set off a fast-spreading political movement that takes a terrifying turn.
That's less interesting to me than a giant wave.
And then finally, from Italy, we have Luna Nera, which translates as Black Moon. So it's based on an unpublished manuscript about women accused of witchcraft in 17th century Italy. That's an interesting concept.
I'm sure they just found this lying around in the Vatican.
All this shitty stuff we did a couple of centuries ago. That doesn't leak to the publishers. Oh no, Netflix have got a hold of it. They're going to tell all these stories. I'm alright for... I mean, what depends, because I suppose if it's just people being accused of witchcraft, it could be a very mundane, just depressing drama about these innocent women who are being accused and then, killed for it. Part of me is hoping for some actual witchery.
Yeah, witchery, witchcraft.
Witchery. I like witchery. Witchcraft's good, but witchery. Do you know who was a witch? Willow on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, do you know what? I was like almost to throw something at the screen then. Just ugh.
Well, that was the last news story, so I had to get it in there.
I thought I was getting away with it. I thought you'd forgotten.
But that is the news for the week. So, this leads us to telling you what happened in the last week in terms of reviews. We had another Timeless, we had an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we had the Terror, we had Legion, we had an Expanse, and obviously we've worked through about 5 episodes of Lost in Space since the last news as well.
And Ash vs Evil Dead.
And Ash vs Evil Dead. I always forget that. I don't do that
you
with
know what? No wonder it got cancelled.
A lot to pick from. Nothing new there, of course. That was all just stuff that had all been going on for at least a week before as well. What are you picking for your favourite of the week?
It's tough. Yeah.
I've got mine. I think I'm picking The Expanse.
Okay, I'm torn between that and Legion.
I mean, I like Legion a lot. I think it's between those two probably safely.
Yeah.
Even though nothing was bad this week by any means, everything was solid. In fact, Timeless may have had its best episode yet. I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah. Weirdly, S.H.I.E.L.D's one of the weaker ones this week.
Yeah, just, sometimes it has to have a quieter episode.
Still not a bad episode, but on the rankings, it's lower down, right?
No, it is, because Terror was solid. Everything firing. So, go on then, make your choice.
Yeah, go on then, I'll throw it to Expanse. Why not?
Exciting. So, coming up this week, though, we have Westworld starting Season 2.
We do. Finally.
So, you can look forward to that. And then later in the week, we also have the double premiere of The Handmaid's Tale Season 2, so big things coming. And it's probably worth mentioning, even though the news should be out again before this happens, but 3% is starting on Netflix next Friday, so that's also something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see if the news is out before that or not, depending on how things schedule out.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: if the news just doesn't happen either next week or the week after, don't panic. Don't panic. We're just really busy, and the news is maybe something that we could take a week off, maybe, to catch up.
Yeah. Netflix are really kind of throwing a lot of shit at us.
It's Netflix. It's having 6 regular weekly shows plus Netflix shows to work through. That's really hitting us hard right now.
It's a real problem when Saturdays and Sundays are dead zones.
Yeah, because we're too busy on Saturdays and Sundays to do anything else. That'll help when Shield's finished, because it'll give us that Saturday slot to do an episode of whatever whatever we started on Netflix the day before.
It is. Typically, we don't actually have a Netflix show lined up for once Shield's over yet, but I'm sure there'll be one.
That's because it's mid-May though. They're just not
Yeah,
announced.
exactly. We haven't had the May yet.
Yeah. But yeah, so big things happening. So big TV week. So look forward to the coverage of those. But that is us. That's been TV news. Relatively meaty. I think there was a lot of interesting stuff there in those dramas this week. Netflix and Amazon just throwing everything at us.
Yeah, they keep us going until we get to the the network cycle.
Some of that's bound to stick, even if like only one or two of the 10 interesting things I read today end up being good. That's two good shows.
That's still 2 shows in a year that you weren't going to have before.
So that is us. So let us know what you thought of any of the news this week in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, you can have it at patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link in the description. We did add some new goals to the Patreon, just some fun ones. The next goal is at 150. On Influx, me and Connor will review an Uwe Boll movie. And we'll put up 4 for vote for our patrons to pick which one we'll do. But yeah, so the idea of doing some more fun goals in between is little milestones to celebrate. So you can head over there, have a look at that stuff. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?